Hello everybody, it's Doc here, and I'm going to do a little technical analysis today live on UNH, and you can follow along and see how I might take a look at this. One of the first things I want you to understand about what I do in terms of analysis is that I typically do all of my trend analysis here on the weekly chart. The daily chart I generally use for entries and exits and just really keeping up with what's going on a daily basis. But from a trend standpoint, I want to look at the weekly chart all the time. First thing I want to show you is that stocks generally trend in a channel. So the first thing is we're going to put a trend line on here starting at this low back in 2013, and we're going to extend that up through the lows that you see, and we've got about 5 or 6 touches there. So this defines the trend line. Now, one of the other things that happens very often is that there's a channel which runs parallel to this line. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to create a parallel line with that selected trend line, and I'm going to put it on here and try to connect as many tops as I can. So one of the things that you notice right away here is that when you see this stock here in late 2016 came out of this long-term channel and has been trading above it for quite some time. I'm going to zoom in a little bit and show you something that I'm a little concerned about, and you might want to use this to give you a target about what's going on in the future. First thing is I'm going to connect these tops here. These are mainly this year. So you can see there's another little sort of a return line off of the tops there. But here's what I want to show you. Come down here and look at the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence that I'm running here on a weekly, and you see that it's been running down. So now you've got a situation where you've got a return line here that's going up, and you're looking at the moving average convergence divergence indicator going down. This suggests that there's some weakness developing in the stock. Now, if we back up just a little bit and look at the overall trend, typically you'll see a stock like this come back inside this trend channel area here. So now we're going to look at what might be the targets for that particular trend channel. Obviously, we're looking at about 162 is an area that it would probably come back in, but more than likely, if it comes back inside the channel, it'll have a tendency to come back across the channel and touch the bottom like this area did right here. So we're really looking at the possibility of a stock moving down into the mid 130s. So I'm going to show you how I take a look at this from the standpoint of getting some price targets. I'm going to come right to this area right here where you can see we touch the bottom of the trend line. You'll also see this is an area where the moving average convergence divergence crossed above 0. So I'm going to look at this as the beginning of a new move up. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put a Fibonacci line in. Starting at the low, and I'm going to move this up until the very first move forward. I'm going to drop at the 50% level. So you can see right here at this point, I have extended the Fibonacci line up to this area. That would be the first wave or the first thrust of a new move. And you would typically look for a second thrust from the low of this area up to the top area that's equivalent. So that would put you up at the 181. But what we're looking at here with this moving average convergence moving down, we call this a negative divergence. This particular stock may come back in the channel, and if it comes back in the channel, I'd like to know how far it comes back. The most likely thing is for it to do is to come back in and probably retest the breakout level right here at the 145 level. So we could see this stock move back inside the channel, and if it does, it's probably going to go back to the 145 area. If it's a pretty large correction, it could even move back into the 136. So with this information here, I'm going to keep a real close eye on this. I'm going to look for it to break this channel line. If it breaks the channel line, it might make a good opportunity to short this stock. And look for a target in the 145 range. And if it peaks below the 145, then I would expect it to move down to 136. So this information here suggests to me that I would stay out of this stock long, or if I'm currently long, I'd like to push up my protective puts up into the 163, 164 area. So anyway, this is just a little technical analysis on how I look at a stock, trying to determine whether it's going to continue to move up or if it comes back where it's going to come back down to. So anyway, you guys have a good weekend. I'll talk to you later. And don't forget, stay hedged.